Good morning, everyone. Pete Pardo here from Sea of Tranquility. Welcome to another edition of our concert review series. Today we're going to talk about the very cool show last night at the Bergen Performing Arts Center in Englewood, New Jersey. Sons of Apollo with special guest opener Tony MacAlpine and his band. It was a chilly night in Englewood, but a fun, calm night for a show. I wouldn't say the show was sold out, but it was a really good crowd. I would say probably like 85-90% full. There were some empty seats here and there, but for the most part, a great attendance last night. You know, they also played in New York City at the Gramercy just a couple days before, so that could be why maybe this one wasn't sold out. But again, pretty packed with people. And I must say, the Sea of Tranquility militia were out in force last night. Holy cow! I must have met like 20 of you last night at least. Came up to me during various points of the evening, either in the lobby or down on the floor area by the seats or outside or what have you. So for all of you who I was able to meet in person for the first time yesterday, it was a pleasure. Hope to see you all again soon. I love the fact that the more shows I go to, the more people I meet. This army is growing, people. The militia is growing. Anyway, back to the show. First thing I want to say is that last night's show was probably the loudest concert I've been to probably in a good 15 years or close to that. Wow. Like painfully loud, excessively loud. I just, honestly, in this day and age, and at my age, I should say, I just don't understand why the excessive volume is really needed. You know, I hate to keep harking back on a show that I saw just a couple months ago. That Kansas show in New York City at the Beacon Theater was perfect. All right? You could hear every instrument, every vocal. You didn't need earplugs. It was just masterfully done. This was like, and I had earplugs in, and my ears were still hurting. That's how loud this was. So there was I forget their name. I couldn't find their name anywhere. But a young four-piece band kind of opened up the show, played 15 minutes, 3 songs, all instrumental music. They had 2 left-hand guitar players, very capable players, I might add, all instrumental stuff. They opened up the show, like I said, played 3 songs, about 15 minutes. Then Tony MacAlpine and his band came on. Good to see Tony playing again. I haven't seen Tony play since, I think, last time I saw Tony was with Planet X at Nearfest, what seems like a million years ago. Good to see him healthy and shredding up a storm. I mean, man, talking about a lot of notes, boy, and so fluid. Just such a fantastic guitar player. Again, all instrumental music. He's also, showing off some really cool stuff on synthesizer. At one point, he's playing his guitar and synth at the same time. Very neat. He has an amazing drummer, bass player, and second guitar player. Also is very talented. So a great about half hour or so, maybe a little bit longer. Opening set from Tony MacAlpine. Okay, and then shortly after 9, Sons of Apollo went on. Again, brutally loud. And I'm not sure what it was. My buddy Chris, I saw Chris Caffrey, guitar player from Trans-Siberian Orchestra, and Sabotage was there. He was like a row away from me, and we were chit-chatting a lot during the night on text and, trying to shout in each other's ears, and we weren't sure if it was the mix or what, but like, man, Sons of Apollo were just killing it, but their sound was just so loud and like this big wall of like mud. And I don't know if it was from the Billy Sheehan's bass or from Ron Bumblefoot Thall's guitar. I'm not really sure what, but man, it just was like this impenetrable, just excessively loud wall of just kind of sludge for a good chunk of the set, which is a real shame. I really tried to look past it because the band were absolutely killing it. Every member of this band is a virtuoso. Jeff Scott Soto is a completely killer frontman. He's like the perfect guy. Sure, there are other singers out there who maybe have more impressive voices, but I think his voice is perfectly suited to their music. But more importantly, he's the guy at the front of the stage. And with all the stuff going on, Sheehan's bass and Portnoy in the back and Sherinian and Thall doing their incredible stuff, it's really hard to take your eyes off of Soto. because he's got the look and he's got the swagger and the charisma. And even when he's not singing and the other guys are kind of blazing away, he steps off to the back, by Portnoy's drum riser, and he's doing little things in the background. You just got to watch him, right? It's just a great choice for a front man, and he works so well with this band. So, but despite the mix problems or whatever the issues that were going on and the excessive volume, like I said, I had my earplugs in, and, you really can't hear the music great with earplugs, but there would have been, I would not be able to hear it all this morning if I didn't do that. So I'm glad I did. And you can make out stuff. I mean, it's obviously, but it's just so like kind of in your face, right? With guys this talented, they should have kind of toned things down a little bit. But back to the performances. Like I said, amazing. This is my first time seeing the band. I've been following them since they released their debut album a couple years ago, Psychotic Symphony. The new album, 2020, excellent as well. So they played about a 2-hour set. Okay, all right. So they started off with Goodbye Divinity, the kickoff track from the new album. Fantastic. Live, these guys have some serious bottom end. I mean, if you know Billy Sheehan at all, not only is he like fleet-fingered and can kind of do it all, but man, just between his bass and Thal's kind of like, almost like down-tuned heavy riffing. These songs are just so massive live. All right, so you had that. Okay, and that's a catchy tune, one of the catchier tunes from the new album. Then Fall to Ascend was next. Probably my favorite song from the new album. It's heavy. It's crunchy. It's got this insane instrumental workout in the middle towards the end. Signs of the Time came next. Another killer song. Then they played Wither to Black, which in the middle they threw in a little snippet from Tom Sawyer by Rush, which is very cool. We just lost Neil not long ago. Then we went to Asphyxiation, also from the new album. Fantastic. Then Labyrinth. Okay, then we had an incredible, jaw-dropping solo from Billy Sheehan. Amazing. This guy is just incredible. Easily one of my favorite bass players of all time, and just amazing. I just sat there looking at what he was doing and listening. I'm like, holy moly. And loud. Did I mention loud? Loud. Then we got the great track Lost in Oblivion. All right. Followed up by A Very Tender, Desolate July, which Soto was talking about, David Z., who we lost a couple years ago. I looked over at Chris, who's sitting next to me, and you could tell he was, very touched by this, and great version of that song. Very kind of moody, emotional piece. Loved it. Went over really well. King of Delusion was up next. Okay, another killer track. Then you had the ultra catchy Alive from the first album. A lot of great backing vocals from Portnoy and Thal on that. Then New World Today. A little thing called Figaro's Whore. Okay, then a keyboard solo from Sherinian. Another mind-boggling player. I love Derek's playing. I really do. Then we have God of the Sun is the last song in the main set. So by this point in time, it's like 3 minutes to 11. And I was there with my brother, Rich, and I look over at him. I'm like, man, it's like almost 11 o'clock. I mean, you got the union rules say, at these kind of venues that 11 o'clock, that's it. Can't go over 11. Otherwise, you got to pay out big bucks, right? To have the guys tear down the stage and all that kind of stuff. So I was thinking, man, and if you peeked at the set list from this tour, that they also played at these shows Coming Home and a cover of Deep Purple's Burn, where MacAlpine would come out and play with them. And I'm like, there ain't no way they're going to squeeze in both of these songs unless the venue gives them a break, right? So they come out, and Soto's already talking about how, they're running up against the clock, and they got to get going, and they got to finish up, right? So they rip into Coming Home, and right then I'm thinking, all right, they're not going to play Burn tonight because there's no MacAlpine coming out, right? And then like midway through the song, they kind of stop, and Jeff starts like singing without the microphone to everybody in the front of the house, front of the audience, and you can see Portnoy back there, and he's upset. You can tell, and he's just sitting there, and he keeps looking off the side of the stage, and then all of a sudden he gets up and he starts giving him the finger, and I look at my brother, I'm like, oh, Mike is pissed about something. I said, I bet you he wants to play the full set. And you know what? I've been following Mike Portnoy and the bands he's been in for a long time, almost 30 years. Okay, so I've been into Dream Theater almost from the beginning. And one thing you got to say about Mike Portnoy is that he, a lot of people talk about, oh, Portnoy, he's got such a big ego, blah, 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 blah. You know what? I think Portnoy, number one, cares about the fans. That's the impression I've always gotten from him from all my years following Dream Theater and various other bands that he's been in, is that he always wanted to make sure that the fans got their money's worth at every show. Okay, and he wanted to be able to give them the best concert performance possible. And I think for Mike Portnoy, knowing how they worked on this set list and how they they brought MacAlpine on this tour and they really wanted to have him come out and play. This was the last show of the tour in the U.S. And I think for him, he felt like by the venue not allowing them to finish their full set, that the audience was being cheated. And he was not happy. So at one point, he got on the mic and he's like, oh, this fucking venue won't let us finish our full set. This is bullshit, blah, blah, blah. And they finished the Coming Home song, right? Big finale. And he proceeded to do like Chris Caffrey. It was like he did his Keith Moon impression. He just started wrecking his drum kit, throwing the stool over, ripping out the cymbals. He got off the riser and he's throwing mic stands. And he's pissed. He's absolutely pissed. And they get up, the band gets up, does their bows. He continues to give the finger to the guys on the side of the stage. It was just like knocking over mic stands. It was like an epic Mike Portnoy meltdown. Because again, and I know where he's coming from, this is the last night of the tour. We got a good crowd here. We want to give them the full set, and you're not letting us do it. And then, that's the politics, right, behind all this stuff. So, not happy. And, it's so that kind of sucked, not hearing them or watching them play Burn. But otherwise, a great performance. A really great performance. I mean, this band is just absolutely incredible. And the excessive loudness and volume notwithstanding, and the questionable mix, I don't know what was going on there. Like, it was not a great sounding experience last night. But if you're someone who appreciates great musicianship and great songs, I mean, I love the songs, even though the mix was just so muddy and loud, you could tell where it was all coming from, and that the guys were just having a great time, and the musicianship was just outstanding. So for me, despite those things, it was a great night, and I was very happy that I went, and I hope I get to see him again under maybe a little better circumstances where there's not the time constraint. Maybe they shouldn't have had that first opening band on. They would have fit everything in. I don't know, whatever. But yeah, guys, you don't need to be that loud. You don't need to be that loud. Trust me. We want to hear every little note coming out of you guys. And last night was just painfully loud. Painfully loud. Maybe I'm just getting too old, but I mean, there were people who were like, you could see they were having issues with the volume. But man, guys, you put on a spectacular performance. I can't wait to see you again on the next tour. This was a lot of fun, and this is on the web at www.seatranquility.org. We're on Facebook, we're on Twitter, of course, we're here on YouTube all the damn time. So if you didn't get a chance to see Sons of Apollo on this tour, or maybe many of our viewers are over in Europe, in the UK. I believe they're doing a bunch of European dates, if I'm not mistaken. It's coming up in March, so if you get a chance to see them, definitely go. But bring your earplugs, just in case. I know this show was really loud, but hopefully yours won't be as excessively loud, and you'll have a little better mix. But great performance, all right? So visit us on the web, and we'll see you again real soon here, probably later today, all right? Because, of course, we're on YouTube all the damn time. Take care, guys. Bye-bye.